Catan recently released a new version of the game tackling climate change, creating quite the buzz around the entire world. I'm NBC 26 Today's McLeod Hageman outside the Noshery in Sturgeon Bay, connecting with one person behind the game who says she's excited to see how far it's come.
It's cool sitting down and being like, I've got your new favorite thing, and then being right about it.
Lauren Brosnai of Washington Island is the former executive vice president of Mayfair Games, the company that published the first English language version of Catan back in the 1990s. Her family sold Mayfair nearly a decade ago, a tough decision, so much more than a roll of the dice.
I think it's awesome that Catan is still going strong almost 30 years later. It'll be the 30th anniversary next year.
Yeah, to be able to play a board game with somebody who has the connection to it, I think is kind of cool.
You're not the only one that feels that way. It's always very entertaining to make those connections and have people kind of geek out and think it's the coolest thing. And for me, I loved it, but it was like, that was my job.
While explaining the rules,
The first 1 to 10 points wins. And what you've got to do is make sure to expand your territory to try and get all of the resources.
Brosnai telling me she hasn't played the game in years, but says that will definitely change after showing her recently released version with a spin on climate change.
Today's Catanians need energy to keep society moving and expanding, but pollution is a growing threat. In Catan New Energies, you must decide, invest in more expensive clean energy or opt for cheaper fossil fuels and risk disaster for Catan.
What's your reaction to that?
I like the artwork, but I think it sounds really cool. I might actually have to check this one out.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Might have to hit up some of my friends.
Yeah, there you go.
Noshery owner Pat Fugie says telling customers the family behind the first English language version now owns Stephen Cedar Lodge on Washington Island is a local hook he loves to share.
What we do is we just kind of tell that story, and that's the neat thing what tabletop gaming does is allows us to tell stories together.
After years of judging competitions and explaining the rules,
You got to trade, and you can cut off people's roads. You can block their territory,
Okay.
but it's meant to be social without a war element.
Brosnai says she recommends the game to anyone willing to learn.
Love the game. It's amazing. I've taught it thousands of times. Catan is never the same game twice. It's the same rules, it's the same principles, but it's always a changing island.
Pat telling me during street fairs they're the only spot in the entire world with a life-size map that people can play in person. He says it attracts people from around the entire world, and they have one set for later on this summer. To learn more, you can check out our website. That's NBC26.com. Reporting from Sturgeon Bay, McLeod Hageman, NBC 26.